I said, look, I want to do great work and I want to make a lot of money. And I don't think that the two are mutually exclusive.
When Aquaman came out nearly 2 years ago, it was this relative newcomer, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, that folks were paying careful attention to. He melted into that role, transformed, and the work came a calling. We immediately saw him in Jordan Peele's Us, then HBO's The Watchmen, and now Aaron Sorkin's The Trial of the Chicago 7. Now just 5 years into his acting career, we'll soon see him in the Candyman sequel and later as the lead in the Matrix reboot. We chat. The last time we talked, you told me that you discovered acting because of track. You ran track at Berkeley. How so? How did that happen?
Oh man, well, this was my sophomore year, and we were doing this exercise. It was the beginning of the school year, and we were doing this thing where the underclassmen had to perform for the upperclassmen, or something like that. And we're in one of the team rooms that was kind of situated like a small theater. And I go on stage and I just started doing impersonations of the coaches, and do an impersonation of this coach. I do an impersonation of that coach, and everybody's just laughing, cracking up, laughing. And that felt really, really good. I didn't realize that I was on the stage, but I happened to be up there on the stage.
Yeah.
The next day at practice, one of my teammates, after we had got done warming up, he said, almost verbatim, he said, "Dude, you should take a theater class. It's just like recess." And I took him up on it. I went to go take a theater class. I auditioned, and that's where it all started.
Yeah, but you didn't dive in right away. You thought, I'm going to try and be an urban planner before I maybe consider acting, right?
Yeah, well, I wanted to be an architect. I still studied architecture. I've been wanting to be an architect since I was very, very little.
Yeah.
But when I graduated, no one was hiring. No one was really putting up buildings. So architecture sort of pivoted into city planning. And I got a really good job in San Francisco working in city planning. I was still passionate. It was still a job that I was passionate about, high quality housing for people of low income. And I got the chance to, work in that field. And I was doing that for 10 months for I believe a little bit like almost 10 months. And at the same time, I was taking an acting class on Wednesdays at night that nobody really knew about. And that was sort of my little secret, my little thing that I had for myself. Yeah. And I got laid off that October, and I said, well, you know what? I'm gonna go try this acting thing because, it kind of won't, it won't go away. So, and I said, okay, I'll give myself 3 years to make progress. And at the end of 14 months, I got into a lot of the top acting programs in the country and decided to go to Yale. The rest is history, as they say.
I love that. What happened after you got to Yale? Were you thinking stage acting was where you wanted your career to go, or was it
yeah.
with some of the things you're doing now?
Yeah, well, I studied theater almost exclusively at Yale for 3 years. It's a 3-year program, and every summer I was working in theater. So around the clock, I did theater for 3 years. It's really sharpening my tools. I imagined that I would work, that I would get a job on Broadway. And then at some point I would, maybe do some television and film. That I would definitely do television and film. But my focus was to graduate school and to go and to do plays in New York. Yeah. And before I graduated, I booked a job called The Get Down. And 10 days after walking across the stage, I was shooting my big disco scene. So wow. I've been in the television and film space ever since.
That's amazing. The last time we talked, we could hardly discuss how great your role was in Aquaman, because I think that exact day, Jordan Peele announced that you were going to be a part of this film that nobody knew what it was, and that was Us.
Is
and
that
I find
right?
myself in a very similar position because your career has just catapulted since that time, and you're part of so many great projects. What types of directives have you been giving your team about the projects that you're looking for? Because of course, you've had HBO's The Watchmen, you have this great role as Bobby Seale in the trial of Chicago 7, and you're filming something really cool overseas right now. So what is it that you're telling people about the types of projects that you'd like to be working on?
Well, I think I tell people a lot by vocalizing the type of things that I want to do, but also by saying no. You know, I said no, start off saying no to a lot of things. No, I don't want to do this. Nope, nope, nope. I don't have a problem with being patient and trusting myself and waiting for projects that I actually like, you know, that I actually love. So I think that's one of the big lessons for, you know, for myself, even and even now that continues to be a lesson because good opportunities often beget more opportunities. So even right now, you know, I have to be very careful with what I say yes to, probably more so than I've had to in the past 5 years. You know, but I've been really fortunate. I think if I'm being perfectly honest, the directives that I gave my team was I said, look, I want to do great work and I want to make a lot of money. And I don't think that the two are mutually exclusive.
Right.
So I can't say that we have been looking for large paydays. That's not at all how we've been working, but we have been looking for the great work. We have been looking for to align myself with people that have high taste, you know, and so that's really been my formula more than anything, is to put myself amongst the tastemakers, knowing that my time is going to come to be a leader on set at some point. My number's going to be called.
Is it challenging to have that level of patience in this industry?
It is. One of the challenges is that I still, like, I know what I can do, you know, and people have seen I've shown a very small fraction of what's inside of this thing, you know. Even when I was an actor in school, one of the challenges was one of the difficulties was saying, man, no one knows that I'm here. You know, I got all this stuff to offer and no one knows that I'm here. And now I'm in a space where people know that I'm here and they're excited about my work. And I'm saying, man, yeah, this is cool, but no one really knows what I can do. So, but this year has really taught me to just slow down a little bit, to be more precise, to be more precise with my choices, and to really have gratitude. You know, then the way that, you know, we lost a lot of people in the industry, in the way that the industry just came to a screeching halt, that life came to a screeching halt for a lot of people.
Definitely happy that you said yes to the trial of the Chicago 7, because I loved you being Bobby Seale. I mean, I thought that showed incredible range. Anyone who has ever seen any documentary footage or have ever heard him speak or who have read his book or know about his story, you really embodied all of that. I thought that was amazing. What made you say yes to this project?
Yeah, I think the first thing was the chance to play Bobby Seale. You know, I grew up in Oakland, California. The presence of the Black Panthers were very present in my house, and the ideas of Black revolution and Black empowerment. You know, I grew up going to DeFermi Park. You know, the site of some of the Black Panthers programs. You know, their breakfast programs. You know, so this was a sort of a hometown opportunity where I could go, and it was just a slice of life role. It was not even a slice of life. It was a moment, you know, but I could go and I could offer what I had, you know, and sort of make and really make Oakland proud, you know, of that. You know, I felt like I was an actor who could step in, who could fill those shoes.
How did you research this role? Where'd you start?
I started with on YouTube, just looking and listening to Bobby and looking at his eyes and finding out, you know, what made him light up. I watched interviews of him in prison. I read his book, his autobiography called A Lonely Rage, one of his autobiographies, and just really tried to find the soul of this person. You know, I try to get closer to what his main concern was in this film. I try to identify what his concern was, and for me, I landed on you know, protecting his humanity. You know, demanding that he be seen as a human, and demanding that he be given his constitutional rights or his rights that the American Constitution says that he is afforded as a human, as a citizen of this nation. And so it takes a lot of courage to stand up in 1969 and to say, I demand that you, and as a black man, to say, I demand that you give me everything that this Constitution says I'm allowed. I demand it. I demand I'm going to stand up. I'm going to disrupt your court. You know, I'm going to disrupt your process because at this moment, I'm the most American person in this courtroom.
I don't know, but I feel like you got to go back and give props to your teammate who said that you're really good at embodying real people. Because if that was like even a sliver of what you did back then is what people are going to see in this film. Hats off. Amazing.
I gotta find my guy. JP, if you out there, if you check it out, this interview, man, holla at me, man. I've been looking for you, you know. So we're doing, you know.
I love it. I love it. You know, now you have this really incredible run right now. I've already seen Candyman. I lost a lot of nights sleeping, and I know that you have another big film, Matrix, that you're shooting too. What do you attribute this run right now?
Good question. I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna give you some honesty. You know, I think it's some talent. I think there's a large degree of talent. The talent that lets me transform and sort of disappear into my roles and things like that. And I think so a lot has to do with that. I think also a lot has to do with there being a very, you know, this is sort of a lot of people would say this is a renaissance moment in television, you know, right now, where there's a lot of really great opportunities to take good parts in television. And I think I benefit from that as well. You know, saying yes and saying no at the right time, and just really building upon relationships and following the tastemakers. I think that Hollywood has been trying to break me in for a little while. Has been trying to break me into the world for a little while. The most interesting thing I think is going to be not what I have done with the first 5 years, but to see what I do with the next, you know, with the next five. I think that's the part of the conversation that I'm most excited for.
Absolutely. Does all of this right now feel very affirming in the choices that you make? Because I can imagine that when you said to your parents, you know what, I think I want to be an actor, they might have been like, are you sure you want to go from architecture
not
to...
Not at all. I had their full unflinching, unwavering support.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I gotta play. Okay, cool. When is it? You know, my father had already passed away by then, but he would have been completely in you know, in support of my dreams and things like that as well. And so, but yeah, it is definitely affirming, and I'm just so thankful that I had people in my corner, that I had teachers, my parents, my siblings who just told me that I could do things, you know, and that it makes a huge difference when you tell a kid, hey, you can do anything you want to do. You know, it's as simple as that. You know, I think my life story has been, in terms of people speaking positively in my life, it's been really as simple as that. The moments that have changed my life have been when someone told me, hey, I think you can do this. And I say, oh, really? Okay, cool.
Up next on another act, Nicole Bahari.